is our strength.
Attitude is never giving in.
Attitude makes us who we are.
1, 2, 3, attitude.
This was fun. I'll introduce you now.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, this is Jay Wright here today, and I'm thrilled to have a short time with you. I know how busy you are. And for those of you that don't know Jay is the head basketball coach at Villanova for men's, and he's been there, I think, since 2001.
Exactly.
Yes, though he had a short stint, 87 to 92, and has a very impressive career as a coach. I can't believe how many awards you won. You must kind of be embarrassed. You've won 2 Naismith, the Wooden Legend Award, which I only know because of Kareem. One of Kareem's books, he talks about his unbelievable relationship with him.
Yep.
And what a tremendous impact he had on his life.
Yep.
And you also got a Big East Award, 6 awards from
Big East Coach of the Year.
Yeah, and
you're right, Jacqueline. They're embarrassing. We could go through those. We could just pass through that and get.
But I had to do that. You know why? Because that's what we do. We're Villanova graduates, and we get behind our people.
You're right. You guys are passionate and loyal, and you're one of the best.
I also bring it up because I know you looked over a little bit of our material, Bounce, the musical. We are showing America our love for basketball, but also the complications that lie in high school basketball with our teens and education. And I was thinking to myself, you won all these awards. You're beloved, you're respected. You probably have relationships that span 25 years with your players, right? Or more, 30 years.
Yep.
So my question to you right now is, who was your coach? And did you have a coach that was your mentor and someone that you were in touch with for a long time?
It's a great question because it's one of the reasons that I am a coach, and it's one of the reasons I stay in college coaching, and I love Villanova because it all fits. The best coach I ever had was my dad, and my dad wasn't a basketball guy. My dad, as a matter of fact, my dad was a football, baseball guy, and he coached us when we were young. He would say basketball is a sissy sport, and because he never played it and he didn't know it. But once I started to, in high school, really started to pick basketball over baseball and football, he learned to love it. Now he would tell you he's an expert at it. But I also had great coaches growing up. I had a football coach when I was like 10 years old. It still was one of the best coaches I ever had, Jeff Traub. He was an ex-Marine. He was disciplined. But and all the way through, my high school coach, Mike Holland, my college coach, Charlie Willem, and in the coaches I worked for, Mike Neer, Eddie Burke, Rollie Massimino, I looked up to those guys so much. I just really admired what they did with young people. I admired them as men. So I wanted to be that kind of guy, and that's really what inspires me in coaching.
In our show, actually, there's a few scenes with the coach, who's he's a baritone opera star, but the player Flight, who actually in 1 year grows, 7 or 8 inches, and he becomes the most beautiful player on the team. But his head gets in the clouds. Obviously, you've seen it happen. And the fame and the attention and the ego comes in the room before they do. Yep. And the coach has this beautiful moment with him where he says, yeah, you got it all, but don't get carried away.
This is my time to shine, my time to shine in the spotlight. It's my time to shine like a star in the night. Rains are in free fall, and it's gonna straighten out. I can't let you play ball right now. You're flying high in the sky. The swings cookie flips, the dog me from high. Superstars status in the league. Oh yeah, the blinking rays are in free fall. Soon the whole world would know about life. 'Cause it's my time to shine. I can't let you play more.
And the player takes it on as, but this is my time. I've never had a time like this. I've never had a platform like this. I've never had women love me like this. And he does fall to the ground again. It's a actually very pivotal part of the show. And I'm wondering, do you have players, they come in from a very different culture. Here they are in college culture. What happens their freshman year when they're introduced to this new world?
It is really one of the biggest parts of the challenge of making a player the best student, the best person, and the best player he can be. That's what we talked about. If you come to Villanova, you've got to want that, and you've got to want to enter into a relationship that's going to allow us to build you into the best student, player, and person you can be. So one of the first things you got to realize is when you come in, all the accolades you have, all the accomplishments you have, that getting caught up in that and getting caught up in yourself is actually going to prevent you from becoming the best person and player you can be and student. And we have a saying here that you become us, we don't become you. And everyone here in our program and in our family, everyone's status is the same, but everyone's role is different. So we try to teach the guys, like, you might be a great player and a leading scorer, but the manager who wipes up the floor when you fall and get sweat on the floor, he's just as important as you. He just has a different role. So one of the things that always happened to a freshman player, he comes in, he's an All-American, and he gets out on the court and we're practicing, and somebody goes down on the floor and there's sweat on the floor, so you got to get it up quick so someone doesn't slip. And one of our managers will run out and he'll actually dive on the floor and wipe up the sweat. And the freshman player will be looking at him like, whoa, what is that? And then he'll run off the floor and we'll say to the star freshman, we'll say, hey, did you thank him? He just came on the floor and wiped up your sweat. Did you thank him for wiping up your sweat? And he kind of looks at you like, what? Like, I thought that was the craziest thing I ever saw. But we explained to him, like, yo, that's his role. And he does that with great enthusiasm and humility. And by the way, he's a 3.9 student in the business school and has a lot going for him, just as you do, but that's how he gives to the team. So you've got to respect that, just like he respects you. And that's part of the growing process here for all of our players.
That's pretty incredible. And you don't get any resistance or backlash, like, I'm out of here. Well, lucky to have me.
The recruiting process, that's a great way to put it, because the recruiting process does lead to the belief of the player that Villanova is fortunate that I'm going there. Mm-hmm. And we are, because without the guys, the guys we have, we don't have the program. But there's got to be an understanding there that for the players, that as much as we love you, there have been great players here before you, and there will be great players after you. And we are very fortunate to have you. But if we're going to make you the best you can be, we got to be honest with you that it's not about you. And your best opportunity to become the best version of yourself is if you can learn to think about others and learn to be a part of something bigger than yourself. It's easy to say it. Now, it's a process, because just like your response is really the response in their head is like, wait a minute, you're lucky I'm here.
Do you know who I am?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So eventually that changes when they're here. And we're very fortunate. We get high character guys that have humility and intelligence, and they eventually come around to understand that.
I saw that a little bit when I was at Villanova back in the day. 20 years. I graduated in 86, but Rollie, Massimino was the coach.
Yeah.
And I was dating Michael Enright while I was there.
Oh, yeah. Know him well.
I had a big allegiance to the team. I was a big cheerleader on the side. But I remember one day, it was after I rode for the crew team, and I snuck into the main house to watch the guys during practice.
No, Rollie doesn't go for that.
He literally saw me up there and goes, "McManus, get out of here." I was like, so as time went on, Rollie liked me. I was invited to the house for a family dinner. One of the beautiful things, that was impressive, right?
Well, that's what you know when you're invited for a pasta. Then you're well liked.
He actually, what he showed me, and I'm sure you do this for your team, he really did create family.
Yep.
Because the loyalty that those guys had for one another and for him and Jake Nevin, I was lucky enough to know Jake, and he was a big part of the family there. Yep. Amazing guy. I think that a lot of these recruits come from homes, I know because I've witnessed them, and we go into these neighborhoods where family really isn't the priority. Sometimes survival is. Sometimes just thinking about how do I get out of here is.
This year's the year that I get out of here. Because my game is my future. Mom, dad, popcorn, none of that matters. Because I'm the future. I can hop, but I'm the one that's getting out of here. I'm not playing to win, I'm playing to live.
And then they come to Villanova, and what happens?
Exactly. They become a part of the family. And again, as you know, initially their mindset is survival, and rightfully so. And what we all have to understand is, and I think Villanova as a community does a great job of this, they realize that initially because they've been through it forever. Kids that come in and their first thought is survival, and they don't understand the value of family and trusting that if I actually think about everybody else and think about the community, I'll be taken care of, and it'll make me the best person I can be. They've never experienced that, so it takes them time in the beginning. So there are some rough spots in the beginning when they're freshmen, or I remember Kyle Lowry, one of our great players, came in from North Philly, and I remember going to the dean of students, Father Stack, if you remember him.
Of course.
And I said, look, he won't smoke, he won't drink, he won't fight with anybody, but he has no concept of authority. He's just survived. He's just a survivor. He could tell a teacher to go shut up or just totally blow off a priest or something. He just has no respect for authority. Now, if he does it, whatever you got to do disciplinary in terms of discipline, I understand you got to do it, but I just want you to know he's a good kid. And they said, we get it. And Kyle was a little rough around the edges when he first got here, just didn't get it until he could trust everybody and know that this is a family and we're going to take care of him, whether he's a good player or not. Because a lot of times these kids, they've only received positive reinforcement when they've played basketball well, not at any other time. So they learn that, hey, if I play well, people like me, but if I don't, they don't have any time for me. And when, as you know, at Villanova, it's completely different. You're a member of our community as a student first, as a person, as a player third. Yes. Right. And they do get to understand that. And that's why they remain so loyal. Kyle Lowry being one of them is one of the most loyal alums. He's given back millions of dollars. He comes back all the time. And as you know, all the guys are like that.
Oh, they are. And Easy Ed Pinckney, who I knew, he did something so lovely for me. I don't know why he did it, but he did. Michael Enright, who kept the cume up, I think, average of the team. He was studying really hard one night, and it was Valentine's, and Ed said, come on, I'm taking you out to dinner. And Mike's like, okay, take her. He went to Sportsters. Is that still around?
Yes. I don't know. It was around when I was an assistant coach. I don't know if it's still around.
What was that area called? King?
Hockin?
Yeah, something like that.
Yes, yes.
And we sat there and we had TVs everywhere to watch whatever sport was on.
Or King of Prussia.
King of Prussia. That was it. And what a lovely, thoughtful man. And we sat and we talked about his family and life and what he's going to do after college. And he was very humble. And I've never forgotten that night.
Yeah.
And look, he was one of the best players on the team. Everyone on the campus wanted a piece of him. But no, he's going to take Jackie McManus out to dinner on Valentine's.
No, but he's one of the guys, and we do get a lot of these guys too. He came from a great family, 6 sisters, as you know. So he chose Villanova for those reasons, because he was recruited by everybody. So he actually got it before he got here. He knew what family was about, community, and he chose Villanova over other. He got recruited by everybody, Kentucky, everybody.
Right.
But he chose Villanova because of the family. So you get those kind of guys too. And he still, to this day, as you know, he was an assistant coach on our staff, was incredible with these young guys, so humble, and still remains one of the most loyal alums, the most connected former players, but also connected with all the non-athletes that were his friends in college. As a matter of fact, he just called me 2 days ago about helping the son of one of his classmates from Villanova get into Villanova. He's just the best friend and person you could know.
Well, last night you're going to get another compliment. Last night, Brian Harrington texted me, and I know you're involved with Each One Counts, which is near and dear to his heart, an amazing foundation for children that need palliative care. But he said to me, the one thing I'm going to say about Jay, and I can say a lot of things, this man changes lives, and he's impacted more men than anyone I know. And we need that in today's world. And I really appreciate that you're so committed to it. And listen, we all know that NBA teams want you. You are sought after by many. But it looks like your heart and your commitment and soul is on my campus over there, which I love. And something I wanted to ask you, because I was a psychology theater major at Villanova, and the performing arts was very important to me there. You have a new performing arts center. And one day, of course, we'd love to perform Bounce there. Sorry, Kentucky. We hope we can do it. But Michael Enright and Brian Harrington shared with me that their freshman year in the locker room, the orientation was that they had to sing a song from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Well, do you still do it?
We do not do that. But I was on Coach Mass's staff, and they got. I had to do it as an assistant coach. He does it if you're a freshman, doing pregame meal. I do most things just like Coach Massimino, some things different. Like he had that Italian flair. Pregame meal was like a party before the game, because a freshman always had to get up and sing and perform a full song. As an assistant coach, my first meal, I had to get up and sing a song, and I dreaded that, and I know the guys dreaded it, but then you'd have certain guys, like, I don't know if you remember Eric Leslie.
Yes.
He was came in right at the end of your career. He was an incredible singer. So after all the freshmen would sing, we would just have him sing. Coach loved that he could sing. He would sing every night, but it was like, it was 4 hours before the game, and we'd be yelling and screaming, everybody be singing, and it was craziness.
You were all out of your heads.
Yeah, we're totally different. But Coach liked it that way. Coach Mass loved chaos. We're the opposite. We're quiet. We don't talk pregame meal. But what we do is, and I got this, it was from Coach's version of this, when it's someone's birthday, we put them in the middle of a circle. We all get in a circle, and we sing Stevie Wonder's version of Happy Birthday, and we all dance and sing. And he's got us dance in the middle of the circle. And now we can video it, and we put it on Twitter.
Happy birthday.
So it's a great tradition now, and as you can imagine, these guys can dance. But if it's me or one of the coaches, we have to get out there and dance on our birthdays too, which is a little shaky.
That is fantastic. I love it.
Father Peter, as a matter of fact, I'm going there from here. It would be awesome to get that in the theater. It would be really cool. And I think Villanova being a basketball school, there's a lot of things. So when we're done, we'll work with you on that. I'm sure like guys like Brian, Eddie, everybody would support that.
I know they'd be behind it. I want to ask one more question about your players. This is my question. It might be sensitive, but I figured I'd ask it because there's a lot of emotions in our show, and the players are made to feel accountable. We talk about social justice, and there's a little violence and a lot of family issues. But the one piece that we all forget is that some of these players leave high school and sometimes the last year of college even, and they go off to the NBA, right? Do your players ever come back to you and say, I want to finish up, I'm back?
You mean in terms of their education?
Mm-hmm.
Well, as you know here, and I don't know if you're setting me up for this, but we have 100% graduation rate. So every player that's been here for 4 years, every single one has graduated and graduated on time. So they graduate in the spring of their senior year. Every decision we make and what they do in the summer off season is about getting them to the finish line to complete their degree. From Father Peter, our president, to everyone here at the university, like they feel like that is our responsibility. If we're going to bring these guys on campus, and if somebody's going to be borderline academically, we got to make sure we give them all the support. And Father Peter, our president, will say, I don't really care how you play on the basketball court. Jay does, but I want to make sure you get your degree, and we all feel the same way. We've even had guys like Jalen Brunson, who was the National Player of the Year, 2-time national champion, and he completed his degree in 3 years. And so guys that do leave early for the NBA,
yeah,
we provide them a scholarship to come back and complete their degree. Like Michael Bradley left after his junior year, came back on campus. You see him, a 5-year NBA pro, walking around with his backpack on, taking classes in the summer. But we do that with all of our guys because that's the beauty of Villanova, and it's what we love about our program is we really are here to educate these guys first. We know they love basketball, and we all love basketball, but the education is the most important thing we do. And that enters into a lot of guys' decision that we recruit, because if they say, hey, I just want to go somewhere 1 year and play basketball and get to the NBA, then they don't choose us because we're saying like, okay, you might be good enough to do that, but then we want to make a plan so you can finish your degree. And like Saddiq Bey left after his sophomore year, and he'll be in this year's NBA draft. It was a difficult decision for him. His mother's the head of all principals in Washington, D.C. He's a 3.8 student. His decision was, I came there to get my degree. I don't want to leave till I get my degree, but I'm going to be a first-round pick, so I don't want to miss that opportunity. And it was a difficult decision, and he'll come back and finish his degree.
He will. This was so much fun. I wish I had 3 more hours with you. Can I come visit the school?
Definitely. We'd love to have you. And let's get Bounce here. I'd love to do that.
Let's do it. I'm coming back. I want to walk there again.
You got it. You got to walk over that bridge.
Thank you.